Good morning. All right. So this is where the heavy lifting starts. Was a heck of a move off of the low. Um, and so now as it's coming up into this heavier resistance area, well, this is clustered here. And this is a great lesson about support and resistance. Good morning. All right. All of this congestion is here up at the top. I mean, here we got through the top of the void. And this was, we do these 0 day to expiration credit spreads. And yesterday was one that didn't work out as it accelerated up into what I thought, the one I did was up here. And as it accelerated up into that area yesterday, and obviously that was one that had to be cut out as a loser. And when they accelerate like that right into the strike where you don't want it to go, the loss bills fast. And you better be on your game as to what you're going to do. Anyway, the majority of them, the vast majority of them work out. But the threat of the void and getting through this area here, I guess many were looking at the same thing, and you get possibly a short covering move. Nonetheless, this seasonal period going into the holiday, as well as the breadth being down at this bullish level, which we talked about on Monday, the combination of that, bulls just took control. So now you can see this. I don't know what's going on here this morning that this buying came in where there was some news. And nonetheless, we've got now prices coming into this area. And if we look over to the left here, the area, while this appears to be a a solid wall, in reality, it's not. Hold on a second. And you can see there's a little pivot high here. There's a little pivot high here. And up at the top here, you got the two pivot highs. So as this is coming up, well, it's coming up to this one right here. We'll see if it actually backs off. But while, this stronger congestion area held things for a while, and then it came back up to it, and that's where the acceleration started. As we look to the left, what appears to be a pretty solid wall, we can see it really isn't, because it's just these pivot highs on the way down. As within this bar, and here's the green bar where it came back up as we're looking at these areas, and then it went back down again. That was last Thursday, and then again with downtrend, but it recovers. So this week, all in all, is a great lesson in multiple time frames and trend analysis. And we'll just see if this now, does it stop here? Does it stop here? Or does this now bottoming type of price action that began here and a higher low, where this just completes its move to a destination of being up here, going into the end of this week. So all right, I'm just getting a line at it. With that being said, we look at, well, where is it? We have to look at the other side of it. Where could this actually begin to turn back in the other direction? Well, we look at what is and say, well, this is where it could go to in our reference points. We always have to have the other scenario to keep things honest, if you will, keep our objective and bias aligned with what is. And we go, well, here is our major support. And when this gets another third bar, this is going to be marked off as a pivot low, major support, minor support, and in a strong trend, pullbacks stop at minor support. Now, that being said, I was reinforcing the other concepts that we teach, and that a wide range bar is a momentum move in a smaller time frame. So, while again, a wide range bar, we're going to look at the halfway mark of that bar. Let's just see where that lines up on these charts, these smaller time frame charts. Right? And so here we can see on the 5-minute chart this little continuation pattern. And so this line that I put here, which I kind of eyeballed as to where's around the halfway mark, is right around here, right? So pullbacks now, if this is going to continue to push up into this area, right? Well, this minor support area, and we can put that on the other charts. Well, that minor support area would be the most bullish place for prices to stop, right, which they broke out here. Closing below this area starts to put the bias of this going higher into question. So we're always looking at things objectively as to what should and should not happen. That keeps our bias aligned with what is. So as this pullback begins, it gives us our reference points to hold. Now, we have another day of SPX expiration. And this is, we don't talk that much about the psychological part, but honestly, after yesterday's stick in the eye, do I want to come back to SPX? Well, if as a setup, yes, I should, right? Right, Barrett? It's like, that wasn't pleasant yesterday at the end of the day, being on the wrong side of that, because the spread was far enough away where, doing these over a period of time, it would have never got there. And then at the end of the day, it just exploded. And sometimes those explosions still don't get to that level since it was so far away. Yesterday it did. So today, as we already covered, this has room to go up. So where would I want to be? I'd want to be up here. Now, when do I want to be up here? If it begins to rally, right? If it begins to rally up there and the premiums begin to pop, right, as they did yesterday. So yesterday was kind of like we're nursing a problem, right? Whereas if we weren't in that trade yesterday, and maybe this is a part of, well, I got this loss here. What could I do at this moment? Well, part of what I did was I went long futures, and that kind of was controlled part of the damage, right? As I was closing that spread. Anyway, that spread went up in price and it was going to close within minutes. So the strikes that were well above were going up in premium too. And I thought of that in retrospect. I could have sold the ones that were up above that. Now, you don't know how high it's going to go, but that would have been a viable thing to do to make money on those that were going to evaporate. Now, I don't know what the premiums were, but that is a thought, right? So, and when I sold those XPX strikes, and I know we're going to cover the market here, I'm going quickly. The market had rallied, and my perception at the time was, right, the premiums have come up. I'm going to sell something far enough away where that is going to be a good trade. Well, yesterday was one of those situations that typically doesn't happen, where you got that kind of rally and so on. Anyway, it was a good day as far as experience and learning. Even as I've been doing this 30 years, this isn't a trading vehicle that I've been trading for a long time. So there's things that I have picked up to add to my toolbox, so to speak, doing this trade, which I like because it's a probably high odds trade the majority of time. But there are nuances to any trading vehicle. So, all right, let's continue here. Let's look at the Qs. Well, you want SPX today. So we already looked at where prices might go. And so if the markets continue to push up into the open, what I'll look for is up above here, where there's probably no premium there or very little. So where prices fell from sharply before is likely where prices, buyers or sellers will show up again. So if it can rally up into there, up into this gap fill, which may be close enough, we'll look to sell up above here. The downside, I just don't know yet because I don't think there's any premium way down here to get far away. We'll just have to let it develop. NASDAQ futures coming up to the prior high here and close to the stiffer resistance. So we got to keep an eye on this. And so as I look at this and still, have in mind these internals. So this move down, as I said back then, a move from this high down to this low area so fast is bearish and suggests that lower prices are coming. Well, it corrected sideways, and then the lower prices came. And this head and shoulders kind of top in the breath. You can see where it's come down from. It's come toward the neutral level here. And this is coming up breath toward zero. In a bearish market environment, you say, well, what's so bearish about this? Look how it's going up the last couple of days, Greg. Well, overall, if we put it in the context of what's been happening here from here, let's call it bearish to somewhat neutral since it's held up relatively well. Well, as our internals come up to neutral levels, the probability of selling picking up again increases dramatically. So, of course, we're going to see how far this can get today. But with this in mind, it raises the thought, my thought anyway, of this becoming an M top. Now, if it goes through it, well, I don't know if it's going to go through it, but that would produce other thoughts and biases. So we'll just have to see where that actually turns up. But keep in mind, as these come down and this comes up toward neutral levels, historically, that's where the market's going to try and turn down again. All right. So this has been relatively more neutral than the S&Ps. Right, which have poked up above those highs. So that's an easy way of looking at or determining relative strength and relative weakness without any other charts dividing one into the other or any other kind of indicators. You just look at the chart and look at the trend. Is one going up and one going down, one going up, one going sideways? Did one poke above the prior high and the other one did not? So relative strength and weakness is just looking at something with a little common sense, and you can determine it without any other indicators or anything else. So more neutral there. YM, you can see it, that kind of poked up there. It was lagging yesterday and then joined the party, but it's right up near that resistance. So again, a little extended here, first thing in the morning. We'll see how much it pulls back. We covered minor support in the midway, so keep an eye on there, the same thing. The Russell, right, that showed some relative strength last week by not breaking lower. Now it's coming up into resistance. We'll see what it does. And, just mentioning here, the weekly chart is just dead neutral. So the whole, not the whole, but the concept of the wide range bar and staying in the lower half, as we look at the Russell futures here, we still have that. And if this turns into a topping tail bar, my bias is going back to short the heck out of it next week. So we come back from holiday, and again, this goes out next week with a topping tail bar. We got to think about shorting. So right now we've got this corrective neutral bias, as prices are coming up into resistance. And, as day traders, we take it day to day. If you're a swing trader and dealing with something like this, you probably shouldn't be doing anything. You probably should be on holiday already with a pattern that looks like this. Or very nimble. All right, so bonds, right, turning down from this resistance area there. Yesterday, I was going to. Randall said he chickened out when I said SPX was going to move fast. Did it move fast, Randall? I mean, that's what happens when there's that hesitance. It's like in the moment, intraday, you when you experience that and you see that, you just know it's going to explode. And that's I was long the ES, but I was just, all right, let's tell the truth, so to speak. And I've used this terminology before, intelligent hope mode. I just figured that 3,100 would hold. And when that thing started to explode, I was like, no, I just hit the button, get out, don't think anymore. Because things are just moving too fast. You can't think anymore. It's just protect, and just get out. And so, I was somewhat hedged, but credit spreads, they cut like a razor on the one side. So, and you're on the wrong side of it. So you just got to step aside. All right. So bonds coming in here a little bit up at resistance makes total sense. Oil, neutral here, chopping sideways. And so I'm not so sure what this is going to do because it's going sideways. We do have a red bar ignored. And then when we got a topping tail and an inside week. So, stand aside. Gold, right, down, but it's just grinding. This whole week that we started with a theme of, if you remember on Monday, well, on YouTube, they see it. I said we're starting out with a mess, and it started out with a mess. And you remember on Monday, the Nasdaq futures, they spiked down into the void and then ripped right back up again. And so from that mess started this move up, and I said, now we see what's going to happen here as the heavy lifting begins. Yeah, the yield is coming down, Barrett, but look at this. We talked about interest rates and the fact that wasn't bullish for yields to come down, but what the Fed has been doing, even from back here in last year, where it was on the edge of the cliff for this longer term yield curve to invert. The liquidity here and just moving so far away from that, just longer term puts a floor under the market. And from the point of view that this was the Corona BS, so to speak, bear market that lasted a few weeks, a month, and then the bull market. Whereas prior times in history, we can scroll back. When you got that, I probably have to go to a weekly chart. You get bear markets that last, months. This is the normal bear market when yield curves get inverted, which lasts months to years. Okay, so we don't have that now. So from that longer term point of view of yields, we're still safe. The other internals we look at are shorter term, right? Breadth and sentiment. All right, and silver playing some catch up here. If it can get through this area, this just may be where the real explosive move comes from. So you can see this is where it has been knocked down from each time. So keep an eye on silver if it can get through this area. With this whole idea of printing money, giving unemployment. Geez, people are making more money on unemployment than going to work. Anyway, it's an amazing time. And now we know the airlines are perking. So transports coming off of their lows here. And anyway, Dan, take it away. I talked too long.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's 7:10, Damien. Thanks. I just sent it out on Telegram. Yeah, Greg, yesterday Gustavo told me he knows a flight attendant at American Airlines who, working, she only makes $1,700 a month. Now she's making $4,000 a month sitting at home. So she's like,
crazy.
Why the heck do I want to go to work?
Well, I guess the people that sit back and think that's going to last forever, they're going to get screwed, because this whole Corona thing, like I typed yesterday in the room, this is going to crash at some point, because it's going to become the lie that it is. As far as we say, okay, people died, but look, the flu kills people, old people that are old and out of shape and so on. So yes, it's always dangerous, but this whole idea, which everybody I talk to feels that it's all politically motivated because of the presidential election, people wearing masks in their own cars and this craziness. it's going to come to an end. And those people that are sitting at home thinking, oh, this is so wonderful, they're going to be left without jobs for sure.
Yep. But there is destruction going on. That's for sure. All right, let's continue here. All our opens are fine. If you have a specific question, ask me. Otherwise, let's go to gappers. Tim here is asking on YouTube, asking about tandem. Yes, we know we were talking about this in the green trading room yesterday. Wide range igniting from this trading range, rising 20, 50, 200, bullish 15-minute chart. Yeah, yesterday I gave the green light on it. It's therapeutics. And I did, Tim's asking about a core. It is breaking out after a downside, bottoming tail. And today's MT Live, we're going to be talking about candlesticks and, comparing them to the messages of the nonsense, what you read in the book. But this is a powerful tail right there. That was an ugly red bar at the low, came right back up and is breaking out. I don't know what the target would be as a core because you got a lot of overlapping bars here to the left. This is what we call a buy setup right here. Power move. That would have been a beautiful core entry right over this month's bar. That 39. Wow, look at that. The high was 39 bucks as your core, and now it's 98. But it looks good. It looks good. I think I mentioned yesterday I would love a 1, 2, 3. All right, let's continue here. NVAX, we some people in the green trading room nailed it here on the bullish 1, 2, 3. Gapping down here. It's therapeutics, Corona related. I'm just guessing that it's down with Pfizer up. I'm, same industry. I don't know. But Pfizer here, another gapper. It's a big gap, gapping over all of that. We actually were short this and we're in trail mode. And, we trail stopped out with a nice gain. It's a bullish gap. It's, no pattern to swing trade it. Maybe we can get a put spread or something. Alex, your drop down. Alfredo Rivera, where you're typing to us, if you can make it all panelists and attendees. BNTX, we actually, I think we traded it on this breakout day, but now it's back in play. Oh, I remember. We sold an out of the money $30 put on this breakout. That's why I remember this pattern. It's perking now. Yeah, Jeff, it's in the weekly options trader. Yeah, it's there. I'm looking at it. So email me if you're a subscriber and didn't get it. Jake, your drop down. Let's see, Alex. Yeah, Alex was typing the Ludwig. Alex, you might want to copy and paste that for Ludwig. UAL. No, David, there is no past entry. I did not give an over or under. UAL, it closed at 94, and I'm just spitballing it saying, hey, let's see if we can get 70. So no, it's in play. We're either going to get filled or not, or we'll adjust it. But no, it's valid, and I want to watch. Ed, no, on something like that, the only way I'm going to get filled is on a pullback. So no, on UAL, I'm not waiting if we get filled. But let's check all airlines today. Remember yesterday I said, hey, this could be the start of a turn for selling put spreads. And then voila, that came out with news that they're going to increase some plates, and that's the impetus for some buying in the sector today. Beyond the gap's too big, but see how it sets up, maybe a put spread, maybe a day trade if it sets up. And that was the news. They're going to start selling those patties in China. Neo, yeah, I guess not a great pattern. We bought this in our swing letter right here on June 1. That was the place to get on board. Right now, it's higher risk. Gurn, that's a 1, 2, 3. That ain't bad at all. And I, see, that's why I love my weekly and monthly. Weekly's extended, but I see it perking here. So now I want to blow it up to see if maybe it's a core trade. And it's coming out of a multi-year consolidation with a new low failure. See that? The tail again? That tail was the all-time lows. And so again, we'll be talking about this at MT Live. That is very valuable. So yeah, I like Gurn. Let's keep it on the list. I like it. I like it. Lorena asking about Disney long. It's maybe day trade, but it's in a downtrend on the daily. So you're just swimming upstream, and now it's extended pre-market. It's been rallying for an hour. So I think we can find a lot better. And I'm going to be doing nothing at the open here, and with with this last hour rally to resistance, I'm totally sidelined at the open. I noticed our little THM. We entered this core long. I see it perking pre-market. Nice. MDB. Alex, you're supposed to turn that stupid bell off for me. Okay, MDB. Over yesterday's high is fine. Oh, I see our little Holex here, upper right. We entered that long yesterday. Looks great. Yeah, that looks great. David Lulu, we have what's called a covered put. We were short, gapped against us. We used 30-minute high, and I also sold an out of the money put to improve our cost basis. I don't know if you're asking. All right, so UAL midpoint right now is 48 cents. So we'll just leave it. Facebook, yeah, these FANG stocks have beautiful 15-minute breakouts yesterday. Berman, if it gets over the high, it's fine. Tesla still looks great. It's all-time highs. Power bar yesterday, that looks higher. I like Tesla better than Facebook pattern. Netflix, nothing. Apple all-time highs coming up here. Well, no, I take that back. It's not. It's just breaking out on the 15.